studying the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. This is the very essential textbook on yoga. Surprisingly, interestingly, unfortunately, a lot of people have not even heard about this. Whenever you want to learn anything about yoga, this is the basic, most essential book that you have to read actually. Today we are on chapter 3, verse 39. Having gained freedom from the cause of bondage, as explained in the Sutras 36 and 37, and having gained the true knowingness as or expanded perception of all things, one can even enter another's body. Having gained freedom from the cause of bondage, we have discussed this previously. What is binding us? We'll discuss more as we go. What is binding us? Our attachment, our desires. So Patanjali is not telling you to become desireless, no. But desire should be controlled by you. We should not be led by our desires. So there is no such thing as you have to do this, you have to do that. No, there are no do's and don'ts. But you are advised not to be driven by your desire, but you have full control over your desires, your senses, and you become the master of your own self. So having gained freedom from the cause of bondage, as explained in the previous sutras, and having gained the true knowingness or expanded perception of all things. Now this is important. He is not talking about knowledge. He is talking about jnana. In Sanskrit, jnana is something that you experience yourself. Right now, I am reading it to you, I am explaining it to you. This is knowledge. But once you start practicing it, then your experience, that is, for want of a better word, I use a new word, I coin a word, knowingness. It is something that is already part of your being. It is not a borrowed knowledge. It is not a cut and paste knowledge. It is not that you have heard from some guru and that's it. No. You have to practice first, like the chant that we just said. Not only to learn, not only to study together, but to practice, and with full energy, with full enthusiasm. Not just practice like that, but with full intention, with the right intention that I really want to practice it. So then, if you have gained that kind of wisdom, then that is called jnana, or I call it knowingness, to differentiate it from knowledge that we gain from books. And that is expanded perception of all things. When you gain this knowingness, personal experience, your perception is going to expand. You are not looking at this chair just as a chair, but you can see that even this chair that is called a dead object is made of the same atoms that our bodies are made of. So everything is energy, everything is vibrations. Even if you don't talk about that, we talk about atoms, everything is atoms. And even when I die, my body is cremated or buried, or whatever you do to my body, even if the body turns into ashes, the atoms cannot die. The atoms here, now the scientists are in agreement, full agreement, that's not only your soul, but even your body, even though it turns to ashes, it is just a change of form, but the atoms will remain. And the number of the atoms will remain the same. Some of the atoms may become part of the trees, of the plants, of the earth, become clay. So nothing is dying actually. Death is a myth. We are not talking about the soul. We are only talking about the body. even then, death is a myth. There is a research that our earth, from day one to this date, the weight is almost same. If we lose some weight, we'll go out of orbit. It is almost same. We are getting so many of meteorites from all over the universe, from so many planets. We are also throwing so many stones and they become meteorite in other planets. But somehow there is a balance. If the balance is disturbed, we shall enter a black hole. We'll go into a black hole, and what happens then, we don't know. It's just a guesswork until now. What happens in the black hole? You just disappear. Nobody can perceive you, can see you, but maybe you're still there. So, you see you have a wider perception of all things. You're not carried away by just some kind of hoax or some kind of stories. 40. By the mastery of Udana or life force that goes up to vitalize the brain, one can no longer be drowned in the water. But before that, if you can have that perception, he says, the verse 39, you can enter another's body. Now this is something that you have to decode. What do you mean enter another body? If you know the character of atom, you know the character of atom everywhere. So, if you feel that after enlightenment, life is going to be awesome, no pain, just pleasure, wait for a while. Because at the same time, you will also feel the pain of each and every human being, each and every being. Not only living being, but the so-called dead beings. In Sanskrit, there is no such thing as dead matter and living beings. It is char and achar, movable and immovable. This is also living. And now scientists say, yes, this is also living. The atoms are there and there's a lot of activity going on. But it is immovable because of the density. And our density is different, so we are moving. Actually, activities are there. These atoms are also active. The atoms that make our body are also active, equally active. So once you have a wider perception, you will also feel the pain of others. You will feel the suffering of others. It's just not that life becomes full of happiness. Yes, full of happiness, but at the same time, you will not be able to sit tight while a single person in your sight is suffering. You'll do something about this. That is being in the body of another person. 40. By the mastery of Udana or life force that goes up to vitalize the brain, one can no longer be drowned in the water, pulled by a muddy swamp and harmed by a thorn, anything sharp. Indeed, one can levitate or rise above them. One becomes fearless by rising above physical or material consciousness. Again, levitation, right now there is a lot of stories going on that when you meditate, you levitate, you fly. It's, yes, of course, you defy the law of gravity, and we are already defying the law of gravity. There's nothing unique, there's nothing unusual. The moment we start walking on our 2 feet, we are already defying the law of gravity. So the phrase, I want to be grounded, we have been grounded for 4.5 billion years. Until very recently, we were all grounded, we were crawling. If you talk to the monkeys in monkey forest, if you talk to the monkey, for them, we are retarded monkeys. We fell down, our ancestors, they fell down from the tree and they could not climb back the tree and they settled down on earth. So if you ask them, you tell them about Darwin's theory that you are our ancestors, say no. Darwin never asked us. Darwin never asked us, do I want you as my... I am not your ancestor, you are retarded monkeys. For us, they are monkeys. For them, we are not human beings. We are retarded monkeys. We cannot crawl. We are walking on 2 feet. It's perception. How you look at things. How you look at things. And what he's saying, levitate, is not levitate like that. Okay, when you are meditating, of course, you'll go against, you'll defy the gravity more, little bit more, and you take a sheet of paper and you pass it through. Can. No problem. But that's not what Patanjali is saying. What he is saying is, one becomes fearless by rising above physical or material consciousness. As long as we are in the material consciousness, we are coming to that later again, as long as we are in the material consciousness, there is fear. I shall lose this seat. I shall lose my status. I shall lose my money. I shall lose my house. I may lose my partner. The fear is always there, and this is material consciousness. Rise above does not mean that you leave this chair. You still need to sit. You still need to live in a house. It doesn't mean you become a monk, you become a hermit, you leave your house. No. But rise above the consciousness. Do not be attached to things. Enjoy things. Enjoy things. Enjoy whatever you have got in your life. But stop being attached. Once you are attached, the fear is so much that we cannot even enjoy. We are always fearful of losing. So we cannot enjoy this moment. She is saying yes. 41. By the mastery of samana or life force that vitalizes the middle region of the body, heat and even fire can be produced. This is your middle region. He was saying about the brain region. When the life force, the prana is there are different names for prana. We will not go into details, but there are different names for prana. The life force that goes to your brain is a different name. The life force that is in your heart is a different name. So that can produce heat. And that's very, very easy. You can learn it. There are some techniques you can learn it, and you can produce heat when you are very much in a cold weather, by controlling your prana through your breathing, not controlling breathing, but controlling the life force through your breathing. The very simple method is that your right nostril is representing sun and your left nostril is representing moon. So right nostril is producing heat and left nostril is more cooler energy. So right is normally considered as masculine and left as feminine. As long as you have both in balance, you are fine, you are well. But in a cold weather, you may like to warm yourself up, and then you can just close your left nostril and try to breathe from the right nostril. Few times, 21 times, and you'll see that you won't feel that much cold, and vice versa. Vice versa, if you are in a hot weather, then you can close the right nostril. But this is not something that you should be doing every day. This is when you need it. Otherwise, use both nostrils. The existence would have given you just one big hole here.